that song went viral. I think it's probably up now to 50 million views on TikTok. I'll pull up the numbers, but essentially folks with the summer buzz doing reels to this song by Jaleesa happened organically and came out in 98. So UK Garage making a second incarnation in the scene. But again, like you said, today it's UK Garage. Tomorrow it could be on to the next.
No, 100%. 100%. Yeah, and if it all comes back to how are you building your community? How are you reinforcing maybe a community that you're stepping into that already exists? You know what I mean? Because if you're just chasing whatever the current trend is, that's all you're going to be doing.
You know, Chase, and that's a great segue because I think you being a student of the industry and also coming from Belmont Music School, and what are your approach on your current release, and what's the title of it, and what's your approach with release? You're putting out a single once a month?
Yeah. So we put out 3 singles leading up to this next release. The next release is going to be an EP that has three new singles on top of that, so 6 songs total. And our primary method of marketing on this one has just mostly been through meta ads. Meta ads basically to send people to the DSPs that are highly likely to want to listen to our track and save it to their playlist and or follow us on that platform. That increases that increases the algorithm's awareness on that DSP of who likes our track, right? We're feeding that algorithm data. And so by doing that, it allows the algorithm to retarget other people, to recommend your track to other people who may also like that track accurately.
Okay.
That's seemed to be the primary driving factor with a lot of our marketing. We're also we just finished up a live stream release party where we listened to the first ever vinyl record that we've printed for this next EP.
Cool.
And so that's another one of the things we're trying to get into, as far as both as a piece of merch to be able to sell, to make money as a business, but also as a means of reinforcing the community of people who like retro music with the availability of vinyl records.
Very nice. Yeah. So and safe to say, Chase, should book in what you said with metadata, or not metadata, but with meta, correct. What's nice, the analytics, you can see geographically how your ad spend is performing. And then if you see a bump, you can pour in more money in that region. Let's say Indonesia. Oh, we got a bump in Singapore, Southeast Asia. Then you just accordingly map out your 6-month plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're really talking about here is the Meta ads manager within the Meta business manager, right? So it's not necessarily just boosting your posts on Facebook or on Instagram. But within that, they have a fairly new AI-driven audience targeting system that basically, because there were a bunch of laws that got changed around what information Facebook is able to track back in, I think it was, I forget, I want to say maybe 2018. I could be wrong about that. But basically, for a while, Facebook took away the ability to target specific artists' audiences, right? So let's say you have music like myself. My music is very in line with the Black Keys. for a while I could target fans of the Black Keys specifically. But there were some laws that got changed around what Facebook could track that no longer allowed them to do that, basically. Well, now Facebook has a new AI-driven feature that sort of sidesteps that law in a way, where it basically is able to target fans who are like those people.
Okay.
Not exactly sure how it works, but it's if you set it up, it's called Advantage Plus Audiences on Meta. You set it up and allow that, give it a pretty open criteria, and allow it to kind of figure out who it is that likes your stuff. Over time, those ads will get better and better and better and more efficient.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this here, so fans also like, this is Spotify. Now, have you done ads with Spotify?
We have run some ads on Spotify. In our experience, our ads from Meta have moved the needle quite a bit more.
Okay.
And the only reason I can attribute to that is that Meta has a lot more information on these people and what their interests are, as well as by the time that someone has clicked on our ad on Facebook or Instagram and gotten to Spotify, we've already filtered out the people who are not going to like it, right? Whereas within Spotify, they have to send it out to some people who aren't going to like it to figure out who doesn't like it.
100%. So, okay, so touch on some topics just so we can unpack it. And, this conversation came up organically, but I think, it's great to, blend the sync side and also, with DSPs and the approach to marketing release. But with this cut, No Good, correct, the streams we're seeing, you were able to get that on an editorial. And how'd that come about when you got on the editorial playlist?
Editorials, when you're pitching them yourself, can be kind of a shot in the dark sometimes. Basically, I just pitched it directly through the artist portal, and it got in front of one of the playlist curators, and they liked my pitch, liked the song, and felt it was right for the modern blues rock playlist on Spotify. One of the things I did try to do, though, in that pitch was basically to make their job easy, to try and let them know exactly what this song is and exactly where this song belongs, what artists are like this song, so that when they hear it, they don't have to wonder, okay, does this work with this or does this work with that? They're already, primed to want to see it that way, unless, you're pitching it as one thing and it actually is another.
Yeah. Now, great point there. Similarly, we do that every day with music supervisors, and that the formula works. And I'm curious, Chase, was that information published? Did you know who you just researched in Google to find out who the editorial playlist person was?
No. So when you have a new release on Spotify, you should have a dedicated artist portal that's attached to your artist account, your artist page within Spotify. And that's where you can find all of your metrics on how your songs are doing. Within that portal, there's a page for you to see upcoming releases, and you can pitch from right there. And there's you fill out a whole form of what the genres are and artists and instrumentation, and
sweet.
And you give them a description, and yeah.
Okay. So what's if I search it? Is there the name of the playlist will come up? Do you know the name of it again?
Yeah, it's a modern blues rock.
Okay, sweet, man. So
I think we're still on there, but I haven't checked in a minute.
Sure. So modern blues rock. Okay. So I see. Okay. There we go. And it'll be cool to see. And then, so that means they updated about 13 hours ago.
Right. Interesting that they have Robert Johnson Crossroad Blues on there. I wouldn't consider that modern in any way, shape, or form.
And and you know what? And have you heard this cut? Okay, so this is a cover, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the new Slash blues record.
With
Interesting. I
Demi,
didn't realize he had Demi Lovato on there.
right? Hey, should we play this? Oh, let's see. Maybe we'll, because I'm curious what I know on YouTube, yeah, with Spotify, I want to make sure we don't get flag playing cuts. But here it's a Roberts, and like you said, so Jimmy Roadhouse, Gary Moore,
Interesting.
Muddy. Hey,
Very.
your cut. Shout out to Muddy. One of your cuts is in. Remember we were talking with Susan Dolan in the Muddy Waters vein.
Yep. Yep.
Slash. Oh, whoa, Slash with it. Okay, 3 weeks ago.
Looks like they may have like all of the new Slash cuts in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll bet you $10. Is that release on Universal?
I would bet.
That's my next Freddie King. Oh wow, that's got to be the reach or Texas Cannonball. That's a classic. Okay, Muddy, Steppenwolf. All right, T-Bone. So yeah, wow, Beware of Darkness 2 weeks ago, huh? So long story short, and to tie this back through is, again, my point is look at the competition. So like if you're an indie blues rocker or vintage blues rock artist, oh, there we go.
Yes, sir.
So do they have, that's brilliant. So date added. So you guys are still, that's brilliant, man. And then how many cuts is probably 100 cuts on the playlist?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 150.
So I'm curious, Chase, and we'll have to come back in like 3 months and check it. So, and for the life of that, you're up here is to see what's your position. Does it
Right.
over time our new cuts? Because I remember way back you were next with Black Keys up here, and that was some time. But yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
I think it was that track No Lovin' right there, if I remember. So what they might be doing is just they put all of like the new cuts on top and then recycle everything at the bottom or something.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, sure. Here. I'm just curious. Let's see. Gibson Records. Now who distributes Gibson? Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Gibson Guitar's new record label.
Okay. Man, great artwork there. And that's another thing, is authenticity. We've talked about, and that's something in our Sync Pro Academy we're talking about, the brand identity. And that's what you've done as well, Chase, is, your thought process, all the details. And, when you look at frontline artists, does your artwork speak and mesh with your artist brand, your sound? And maybe I'll save it for next time, but in the next session we'll play some cuts. We curated this playlist of summer cuts, and shout out to Bando at Preach Records, new artist that we're working with in the hip hop lane. And then another signing, Other Gods. And now, interesting backstory on Other Gods. It had been a minute, Chase, but we hadn't talked about it. But, the backstory of the producer who we work with Other Gods and the vocalist, their bio, they're creating a mystery around this persona. They don't name the artist, they don't name the producer, and then their videos are all AI generated. And I think Electrified, these numbers here for an indie artist, they got these spins within about 2-3 weeks, and then the videos tracking on YouTube at about the same clip, 100 to 150,000 views.
Nice.
But yeah, and Fantasy was the test of, because I think with some of the platforms, in order to run advertising, you have to establish yourself and hit certain metrics of spins and playthrough. So shout out to Other Gods, and we'll play some cuts here on the next episode. But with summer here, and we'll end it in treating it like a previous episode on Synchros. What's on your Spotify playlist, Chase, right now? Any new band? And I'll search them here. Anything new that you're checking out?
Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I was listening to a whole lot of Dwight Yoakam leading up to that show last week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know who I've been checking out really recently, and they're from the Southern California area. There's a Latin band called Lalom. Lalom.
All right, cool, man. And how'd you? Very cool. How'd you come across them?
I saw them. I think I might have seen like an Instagram ad that they had, and they were kind of doing exactly what I'm attempting to do, which is like really creating a retrofied persona with the content that they put out. It's all kind of like electric cumbia type stuff.
Oh man. Well, hey, let's end the episode. We'll spin one of their cuts, and I'll play a short clip. And we can see they're on tour, and shout out to the band, and we'll give them. Do you know they're signed to signed to a major?
I think they might still be indie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most likely they're indie or they're signed to an indie label. I know.
Okay,
for sure.
sweet. Yeah, we can go down the rabbit hole. But yeah, what track would you should take the title track to spin? What do you recommend is a good template?
Yeah, I think anything from that. Is it a self-titled album? Lalone?
Yeah.
Anything from that album. Pretty fantastic.
Sweet. Well, why don't we take El Sueno? Because it looks like let's see what we got.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, I'll just stop right there. I'm gonna go to their tour dates. I'm sure they're on your bucket list to go see them live.
Yeah, I'm so bummed. I missed them at the Glass House not too long ago. But yeah, they're a great one.
I can only imagine. So let's see. June, yeah, they're gonna be. Yeah, that would have been a killer event venue. So Ottawa, New York, Newport, Folk, July, and then cool, man. No, great. Yeah, really. And so this is the latest single. I'll just play this real quick. Very cool. Now my mind is spinning because I'm curious for on the sync side. I can only imagine, hearing one of their cuts in authentic, with everything with the content, the films that we're seeing out there. Very cool, man. That's a great share.
Yeah, man, they've been really blowing up recently. I think everything they do is instrumental though. I haven't seen them do anything with vocals as of yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an open canvas there for you know doing, if you were a producer, and that's a tough one because I think whether pairing them with a female vocalist or both male and female with duet opportunities, but I'm trying to think. Yeah, and I want to imagine we'll have to reach out and talk to our friends like at KCRW. But when Raul Campos and then Francesca Harding, I could hear their cuts up and down on KCRW.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, man. Well, very cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We covered a lot of ground. We'll post some links there, post it up to Chase's future. Remind me, when's your next single is coming out? What's the date on that?
So we got the EP Sounds of an Old Soul coming out on July 12th.
Very nice.
With vinyl included.
Very cool. Have you gotten that? Has the vinyl? When you get samples in your hand?
So we got the test pressings already. We're getting the official copies. So we're supposed to get them July 10th. So just before release day.
Sweet. And actually, I'm curious because our friend Colin, aka Slider, was going down a similar vein. I'm just curious, Chase, the cost to press up vinyl, cost for who are you using on the US? Because I think Colin was using someone in the UK, and he was saying it was actually lower than the US pressing. But then, yeah, folks were like, the cost to ship it from the UK. They're like, why are you using a UK supplier? But how was that research process of who to use, what manufacturing plant to use?
We searched around, got quotes from a few different places. The one that we landed on is a place called Precision Pressing up in Canada. I think they're in Ontario. They, I believe, have their records pressed in the Czech Republic. And as far as I know, there's no import duties on materials like that from Canada. So the shipping on it was fairly minimal. And we decided to go with them primarily because they have built into their prices a lot of what most other places offer as like premiums. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like their basic record, their basic album jacket comes with a spine, where a lot of other places it would just be a basic front and back, right? They come with the nice poly bags and things like that. So you could theoretically, we could have bought these records for cheaper from somewhere else, but we would have also not received that sort of quality of product. And if we wanted to get that quality of product from other places, it would have been more expensive. Does that make sense? So it's sort of more expensive, but not more expensive.
Got it. So, and then as far as, I'm just going to pull up our friends at Spartan Records and shout out to them. Because I'm just curious, because I know they press up a lot of vinyl. And because you were kind of, I was going down that rabbit hole with when I had interviewed one of the recent artists, and I'll pull them up. Low Coast was talking about the weight of the vinyl. How does that impact price? What would you end up going with, Chase, as far as how heavy?
We ended up just going with the regular. I think it's $480. 480 milligrams, I think is what
Okay.
what it is, if I remember right. Because I mean, in my head, that's how thick vintage records are, and that's kind of as thick as you need them to be, unless you're trying to do something particularly different with like the coloring of the vinyl, or like sometimes you make vinyl that's got like liquid inside it, all that jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, like with Locos, I think they call it in grams, right? I think they went with 300 gram.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. In this case, gold, the swirl, but yeah, that impacts the price. And smart, correct, Chase? You guys also, you're doing a limited run.
Yeah. And that's something that we kind of figured out is for an independent artist trying to produce vinyl for sale is somewhat crucial in order to be able to eventually offer the vinyl at a price point that people will want to buy, is offering some exclusive limited quantity versions of that vinyl up front at a premium, so that you can recoup some of that upfront cost. And you're selling those to your most, engaged fans. And and you're including a whole bundle of things with that, so it's got that extra value attached to it. But otherwise, like trying to sell vinyl at a price point that people would want to buy, you don't end up making enough of a profit margin to even pay for the cost of acquiring that customer, if that makes sense.
100%. Yeah, and to wrap up the episode, and maybe next time we'll play one of the cuts that we haven't spun before. Yeah, I like what you did with you got the track title here. Is that artwork, or is that it's a sticker on the artwork made to look like a real sticker, but it's it's printed. Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah. I worked with this artist. His Instagram handle is Nostalgia Art. But I think he's out of I want to say Italy.
Was it Ukraine, right?
This artist I think was out of Italy.
Okay. Oh yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. And because that was in one of your videos, this car, right?
Yeah. That was a car that belonged to a friend of my folks, and was gracious enough to let us borrow it.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's bringing back memories of, because working with Al Green on the reissues, and we would do compact disc and also the vinyl release. But yeah, man, and just as we wrap, and then safe to say, so you got your vinyl, and then are these new on the apparel side? New for the release, a new design?
As far as the stickers?
Or the t-shirt?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we got new t-shirts, we got new stickers, we got trying to have a little bit of new everything. Got some new posters.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, rock and roll. Something to look forward to on our next chat. We can share some more cuts, and since it's all about sync, and then also current trends in the industry, releasing a release digitally and on the commercial side on vinyl, what you're doing, Chase. So thanks for breaking things down. And with that, show your love and appreciation, guys, for what we do here at Syncrets. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, like, tell your friends, post those comments with questions, because we're always happy to take those. And with that, we'll catch you on the side. Namaste.
Go.